deep pore cleanser, okay? So after this, you remember, I always praise the Gel Super Purifiant for having a very nice action. And that's exactly what we're gonna do here next. So always, whenever you're dealing with skins that are acne prone or oily, always in your treatment you wanna use this guy, okay? So a little bit more than she would be using at home, right? Little water with it, always a good idea to emulsify. If you need to do a lot of extractions, okay, I'm not going to be doing any here today, but if you do, when you apply the Gel Super Purifiant, you can have your steam running if you're using steam, okay, so no problem with doing that, or an application of a couple of hot towels, okay, to remove it. And then of course after extractions you can perform another, session with the Gel Super Purifiant. So before and after extractions. It's also very good for before and after waxing. If you guys ever, yeah, the gel, it prevents breakout. This astringent, has to be removed, okay? So this is definitely not something you can leave on the skin. It has to be taken off, especially when we're doing a green peel, right? So we'll remove it. The next step is exfoliation. So normally, you're probably very used to using your herbs to do that, right? So at this point it would be a good idea to use herbs, but in a normal facial we're gonna use the super enzyme peeling. The super enzyme peeling comes in a form of powder. This exfoliant is mostly used for skins that are hyperkeratosic, okay, or skins that are a little bit on an oily side, okay, with impurities and so on. Now, when you have rosacea or very delicate thin skin, we did discuss the enzyme regulating cream before. This is a professional packaging of that cream. Normally it comes in a tiny little jar, right? This you can use also as a mask. So if you do have that especially very sensitive skin, you apply this as a mask for about 5 minutes and it gives you a very nice gentle exfoliation. So I'm just going to mix it. I put in enough water so that it actually becomes like a pasty powder solution.
So water and
warm water.
Warm water.
So once it's all, it makes a perfect paste, right? So once it's pasty like this, it's ready to be put on. And I'm going to use a brush to do that. So not too heavy. A very thin layer is usually enough. You always want to mix a little bit extra if you're doing it on the décolleté and the neck as well. But this is what we're going to do. And if you can, actually at this point it would be a good idea to use, like we were saying, either a wet gauze or a wet towel, okay? Or even if you have the steam still running, you can do the steaming over this. So we're not going to put it on for too long because, like I said, her skin is pretty well exfoliated. So this is more just for the balancing action. So I want to cover it with a wet gauze, okay, just to keep it warm and wet. If it dries up, it actually stops the enzymes altogether. Just going to cover that up. And just like you do with the herbs, when you're ready to take it off, it's a lot easier to just roll the gauze down. If you have if you have a steam going, you can do a little bit of massage to move it around. Yeah, but if you just have access to gauzes or wet towels or whatnot, it's an enzymatic action. Really, do not need any mechanical stimulation. Okay. Dr. SCHRAMMEK basically figured out, microsilver, a very strong ingredient. It acts like an antibiotic. I'm going to basically put it on the surface of the skin to stop some of the proliferation of bacteria. Okay, so it's very, very beneficial for acne that's caused by bacterial infections. Okay. So that's that. Another one is also an ingredient that helps with basically sebum regulation. Okay, so regulate sebum, make sure that you're not overproducing it. And aloe vera, which is probably one of the best humectants you can use. So we're just going to remove that. So if you want to do any extractions, this is a good time to do them. Okay, right after this.
How often can you do that?
So this is only for professional, right? So
Yeah.
pretty much like if you
Someone
plan
that has very acne skin, if they were to come and
every
take
couple of
shock
weeks.
treatment.
So just a little bit of toner, okay, to finish. Bring everything back to neutral. Looks good. So what's next? Next, very much like with the, the follow-up facial to your Repeal Classic, we're gonna kind of follow the same steps, okay? But instead of using the green peel stuff, we're gonna use our impurity stop ampules. Okay. And I'm gonna use that brand new multi-derm mask. Okay. So just like with your Balance Plus mask in green peel, I'm gonna put half of the ampule on her face, and half of the ampule I'm going to put in with the mask. Okay. So remember, whatever ampule you add to this mask, it actually makes that mask to be exactly what the ampule is. So in this case, it would be purifying.
Mask was for 15 minutes or 10 minutes?
For her, it was only a couple of minutes because she's quite well exfoliated. But if you have somebody who needs, like a full exfoliation, Zara, no more than 12 minutes.
Oh, okay.
12 minutes is the maximum time, okay? 4 minutes for like a very, very sensitive skin if you want to do that. 8 minutes for normal or mixed skins, and then 10 to 12 minutes for very, very impure skins. This ampule, of course, if you're doing this facial, and let's say you open one of those sleeves of ampules, right, for your client, you use one in the treatment, and like with the follow-up to Green Peel Classic, you can then retail the rest to her to take home. Now, you remember for the Balance Plus mask, we usually put, obviously, one of the ampules, we put the Balance Plus mask. We can also put a little bit of the foam, okay? So if she, for example, was very inflamed, I would definitely want to add a little bit extra of the foam. For now, what I'll do is just add enough, just about a walnut size. It's the Multi-Derm Plus mask, okay? So this is for normal facials without use of the herbs.
Okay. How long is that? 15 minutes?
Usually 15 to 20 minutes, right? But for somebody like Michelle, I would still not mind if she used the Gel Super Pure Fiat, for example.
I'm going to be here. Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to do a little bit of lymph drainage. With acne, and I'm going to repeat that again, you never use a normal massage, right? So you always want to follow with a little bit of lymphatic drainage. The rest of the mask I'll just take off with a little bit of toner. So we're going to do a little bit of partial lymphatic drainage. Okay. So for this, if you have acne, never massage the skin normal way, okay? Because it just spreads the acne, makes it worse than what you begin with.
But people who had some breakout around here is okay. Or
Yeah,
you
for
can
that
massage
that's okay. If it's partial, if it's not, definitely not like a strict condition with acne.
So, but case of Michelle, she has a kind of stage 2 acne, so that's why you can do.
It's more beneficial to do a lymphatic drainage. So the lymphatic drainage, just one point to always remember is to not to tap on the skin too hard. Right? If you do it too hard, you bypass the lymph altogether. If you do it too light, you're not stimulating anything. So the touch has to be just right. If you have very acneic client, you can also pump the popliteal spaces of the armpits. Okay, so just go under armpits and do a static pump. Or pump the thoracic duct, which is right here, just underneath the rib cage, to push the toxins down towards the kidneys. So that's also something you can do for a client. And then I'll just finish at the occipitalis. So that's the last point. Okay. And guess what? We'll finish with the silver fluid for her and a little bit of the BB cream. See, it absorbs completely. Hey, Michelle? Yeah, no residue left. I was asking if anything hurts because I just want to see like what the scar tissue is, if she has any cysts or anything like that, but she says nothing. Okay, and we finish with a little bit of Blemish Balm. Yeah, so I mixed a little bit of the Blemish Balm fluid in Ivory, and then a little bit of the honey in the original. That looks good. That always has that wow effect, eh? When you finish with a little bit of Blemish Balm.
Absolutely.
People love it.
And it's very calming, and it's a barrier cream, so it protects the skin when it goes out when you go outside.
And that's it.